committee has been asking for quite some time for a budget for the last 5 years. I assume that that is something that you have readily available today. How long will it take you to get that to this committee?
I have your letter of April 13th. You've given us an April 25th deadline. I intend to meet that deadline.
So did the GSA meet the deadline? Congressman Jeff Denham joins us, and your witness said he intends to meet the deadline, and it's about, I'd say, about 90 minutes and some change away from the clock hitting midnight. So have they met the deadline?
They haven't. In fact, we never felt that they were going to meet it. I mean,
Well, he said he intended to.
He did. He did. They still say that they want to work together. They say they have numbers that they want to show us. But there's a whole reason they've been hiding this budget from us for the last year and a half. It's a $10 billion slush fund that's outside of Congress.
All right. Well, why do you think he said I intend to if he hasn't done it? Did he call tonight and say, could I have like a day or two? Did he say anything like that?
Left a message with my staff that they want to get together in the next couple days to start reviewing some of this stuff. I don't know why it's taking so long.
Why doesn't he just produce what you want and then you can get together and talk?
Exactly.
All right. So how bad is this? I mean, like, what do you expect all this stuff is going to show?
You know, we've seen the huge amount of trips that they've taken, the parties that they've taken. I think that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, GSA sets the standard for every other agency. A $10 billion slush fund, we expect that there's plenty more of this out there.
Is there literally a $10 billion slush fund when you make that mark? Is that a fund to finance all of GSA, or is that outside of GSA's money for operating GSA? What's this $10 billion slush fund?
$10 billion is the revenue that they receive from all of the different agencies that utilize public buildings. So IRS and all of the other agencies, they use public buildings. They pay rent back to GSA. GSA uses that money for what GSA likes to, and without having any accountability.
Why isn't that going into the Treasury and for a different sort of path in terms of revenue? I mean, why doesn't that go to the Treasury and then GSA get a budget every year?
It should, and that's what we want to change. I mean, that's why I've said we ought to abolish GSA altogether. They do a horrible job of managing our properties. They don't sell the things that have been sitting vacant for years. It's time to get rid of them.
Well, look at that clown. Looks like they're good party planners, though. I mean, there is that, I say sarcastically, because I'm scandalized by it. All right. This slush fund, do they spend every cent that they take in terms of revenue from all these buildings paying rent, all the IRS or the Labor Department, who's ever paying rent? Do they spend the money every year?
No. They allocate it in different areas, use it to redevelop some buildings. They're supposed to use it to sell off buildings. Out of the 14,000 that they've identified as excess properties or unneeded properties, they've sold 82 in a decade. Is
GSA the only agency that has parties that is paid up by the taxpayers, or if we dig deeper, we're going to find that every single agency has these conferences? They call it conferences. I call them parties.
GSA sets the standard for everybody else. We think that this is the tip of the iceberg. We've certainly seen a culture of corruption within GSA, and we think that culture goes well into many other agencies that are doing the same types of conferences.
So why don't you send a letter out to the head of every agency and say, give me the list of your parties/conferences for the last 5 years. Give me a list of them until spent, and just give me that number. I mean, look, I got notice today from Amazon that 19 cents they owe me. If Amazon could figure down to 19 cents what they owe me, I'd put it on Greta. I've never seen anything like it. But if Amazon can do that kind of accounting, why can't the federal government?
The federal government should. We passed a bill today that actually deals with putting a cap on all conferences.
Cap? Why do they even have any conferences at all? I mean, how about just zero it out and ask for special permission? I mean, that might be a good idea.
Absolutely.
But is it? I mean, can you send a letter to all these other agencies and find out what they're spending on conferences?
We can, but as we've seen with GSA, they've dragged their feet for a year and a half. When they're embarrassed that these conferences are going on, they try to hide it from the public.
Well, why not just send it out and at least have them go on record saying, I can't do it, I don't know, we don't have any, here's the $1 billion we spent for 3 clowns and not 2 clowns.
I think that's part of the challenge. With these different agencies, they try to slow you up. I mean, from GSA, we've been asking for it for a year and a half, and they always tell us they're going to get it to us. And in fact, you heard even in the testimony, a week. Yes.
He's got, actually, my calculations, he's got 93 minutes, so maybe he'll get it to you before midnight. He may. So he may show up tonight. Anyway, Congressman, nice to see you, sir, and good luck. I hope you get this information.
Thanks, Greta. Good to see you.
Coming up, Senator John Thune.